Good evening. I will call to order the meeting of the Chautauqua County Legislature on June 25th of the year 2025. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Anthony.
Here.
Mr. Bankowski.
Here.
Mr. Buchanan.
Here.
Mr. Carl.
Here.
Mrs. Dickey.
Here.
Mrs. Gustafson. Mr. Harmon.
Here.
Mr. Heiser.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Landy.
Present.
Mr. Larson.
Here.
Mr. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Nebel is absent. Mr. Pavlak.
Here.
Mr. Penhollow.
Here.
Mr. Proctor.
Here.
Mr. Scudder.
Here.
Ms. Vanstrom. Chairman Shagnon.
Here.
And Mr. Nebel is present. Okay. All right, there are 19 members present. There's quorum.
Thank you. And now we will have the prayer and pledge of allegiance by Legislator Vanstrom.
Dear Lord, leaders in government are lifted up to you today, acknowledging that all authority comes from you. It is prayed that you would grant them wisdom, discernment, and strength as they navigate the challenges of leading our county. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we have time on our agenda for approval of the minutes of the last legislature meeting on May 28th. Do I have a motion on the minutes? Motion to accept by Legislator Bankowski and a second by Legislator Gustafson. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that brings us to our first privilege of the floor. Members of the public may comment on any subject relating to any local law, resolution, or motion appearing on tonight's agenda. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes, and comments representing a group shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone wishing to address the first privilege of the floor? Anyone for the first privilege of the floor? Seeing no one, I will close the first privilege of the floor. And that brings us on our agenda to commendations. The first is certificate awards to high school valedictorians and salutatorians. So I'd ask the county executive to come down and join me.
So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for being here, especially our guests. Congratulations on your academic achievements. As we will be calling off valedictorians and salutatorians, this year I will also be giving you a challenge coin from the county's executive's office, along with a certificate. Uniquely enough, I share this oftentimes, many years ago now, and was able to share it with Jack Glenzer. But as a high school senior, I received a certificate much similar to this from Jack, who was then county executive. And some 35 years later, I found myself in his role. So I challenge everyone that I give certificates to 35 years or sooner. Come on back, contribute, and you may be in this role. So unique. First up, the valedictorian from Westfield Academy, Addison Luce. Addison. We'll be calling each member up, and then we'll take a group picture at the end. And from Cassadaga Valley, valedictorian Charlotte Couchman. Charlotte. From right down the road, Chautauqua Lake Central School, might have a connection here with the community and our county, Logan Ludwig. Congratulations.
Logan, congratulations.
His mom may or may not work for us. Valedictorian. I've known this little one since she was born. From Frewsburg Central School, Miss Elena Pitts.
Congratulations, Elena. Good work.
And the salutatorian from Frewsburg Central School, Alexandra Wade.
Congratulations.
From Chautauqua Lake Central School, valedictorian, Lincoln Smith.
Lincoln, congratulations.
The valedictorian from Jamestown High School, Miss Bella Johnson.
Congratulations.
And last but not least, also had a few accomplishments on the wrestling mat and as an athlete, from Westfield Academy, Mr. Mason Maring.
Congratulations.
You want them all to slide over? If you guys could all slide over, we'll send you right here on the county seal. Congratulations.
A proud moment indeed for the legislature and the entire county. And now, on our agenda, we have a commendation for one Richard Dixon, if he's with us tonight. Oh, there he is. Come on down.
Mark, can you join us? Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you want to read this? I don't know. Okay. You want to read the first several and I'll pick up where we are.
This is the letter of commendation from the Office of the County Executive of Chautauqua County. Whereas it is with great respect and deep appreciation that we recognize Richard Dixon for his outstanding service, unwavering dedication, and exceptional leadership over the course of his career as the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency Chief Financial Officer. And whereas Rich began his tenure with CCIDA in July of 2006, and his strategic guidance and financial stewardship have directly contributed to the creation and retention of thousands of jobs and the investment of hundreds of millions of dollars in the region's economy, often working behind the scenes to negotiate, structure, and implement some of the most impactful development deals in the county's history. And whereas Rich's leadership has extended beyond the financial office, fostering a culture of accountability, professionalism, and good humor among CCIDA staff. And whereas Rich has been instrumental in delivering transformative projects such as the Wells Enterprise expansion in Dunkirk, the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel in Celeron, Southern Tier Brewing Company expansion, the development of Americold cold storage facility, and numerous others, which will have positive ripple effects on the local economy for generations to come.
And whereas Rich has also managed key federal funding programs, including the Altec Revolving Loan Fund and EDA CARES Act loan program. And whereas in addition to his professional achievements, Rich has served his community throughout multiple board affiliations, including Southern Tier Extension Railway Authority, the Chautauqua Leadership Network, the NYPA's Economic Development Power Allocation Board, among others. And whereas Rich's career was recognized with a Lifetime Achievement Award with the New York State Economic Development Council in 2023, an honor that aptly reflects the breadth and depth of his impact. And whereas beyond the numbers and budgets in the boardrooms, Rich has been a devoted family man with his wife, Carol, who's with us this evening, has called Jamestown home for life, and proudly shares his love for his daughters, Emily and Sarah, and grandchildren, Alexandra and William. Now, therefore, I, Paul M. Wendell Jr., Chautauqua County Executive, and Pierre E. Chagnon, Chairman of the County Legislature, do hereby thank and congratulate Rich Dixon for his unwavering service and commitment to the revitalization of Chautauqua County, and wish him all the best in his retirement. In witness whereof, we have hereto set our hand and caused the seal of the great county of Chautauqua to be affixed this 25th day of June 2025. So I must tell you, our first IDA board meeting was without Rich this past week, and it was a little different. He was always my sidekick, keeping me active and keeping me sometimes awake. But nonetheless, when I first took this job, it was an amazing to be with Rich and to listen. But every time Mark would talk about a deal, Rich had about 20 different ways we could fund it, and we'll look this and we'll do that. It's unbelievable. So congratulations, my friend, for all your work.
I just want to say I had my biggest project ever this morning. I was assembling Batman and Spider-Man Legos in Cleveland with my grandchildren. One of the best projects I ever worked on. I want to thank you all for your support over the years. The IDA can do nothing without the county and the legislative support. You don't know how impactful you have been to the IDA, so thank you. And thank you, Mark.
Hey, Rich, real quick. He asked me if I wanted to say anything, and this is the fourth time I've done this, by the way. Rich has been more than just, a coworker. He's been a mentor. He's been a friend. He's just a great guy. He really is creative about how he puts deals together, where to find the money, on and on and on. And, the office is different without him, but we're going to prevail. He's taught us well, and we'll carry on his legacy. So thanks for everything you've done for us, Rich. Yep.
And now we have the honor of giving a commendation to the Firefighter of the Year, Mike Zamborek. This is, again, is a letter of commendation. And we have another joinee. Whereas the County of The Chautauqua County is home to many courageous and dedicated individuals who serve our communities through their commitment to public safety and emergency response. And whereas firefighter Michael Zamborik, an assistant chief for the Panama Fire Department and an airport rescue firefighting firefighter at the Jamestown Chautauqua County Airport, exemplifies the highest standards of professionalism, courage, and service. And whereas on August 5th of 2024, the Chautauqua County Airport Response Plan was activated following a report of a jet engine crash at Jamestown Airport involving an inbound aircraft experiencing an in-flight emergency. And whereas with limited staffing on duty, firefighter Zamborik immediately took decisive action upon witnessing the crash, initiating the emergency response, activating the ARFF crash truck, notifying emergency dispatch, and proceeding directly to the crash site.
And whereas upon arrival at the scene, he discovered the aircraft's 2 occupants have self-extricated, and he provided the first on-scene report of fire conditions, requested critical additional resources, and began the initial fire suppression using the ARFF apparatus. And whereas firefighter Zamborik's timely response and situational awareness and effective communication were instrumental in initiating coordinated firefighting operations. And whereas while many dedicated fire service personnel provided this once-in-a-career type of accident, firefighter Zamborik's swift and professional actions were pivotal in preventing further injuries, mitigating risk, and demonstrating the values that define true public service. And whereas in recognition of his extraordinary performance, courage under pressure, and unwavering commitment to public safety, firefighter Michael Zamborik has rightfully been named the 2024 Chautauqua County Firefighter of the Year. Now, therefore, I, Paul M. Wendell, Jr., Chautauqua County Executive, and Pierre E. Chagnon, Chairman of the Chautauqua County Legislature, do hereby congratulate firefighter Michael Zamborik and commend him for his heroic actions, leadership, and dedication to protecting the residents and visitors of Chautauqua County. In witness whereof, we have hereto set our hand and caused the great seal of the County of Chautauqua to be affixed this 25th day of June 2025. On behalf of all of us, and I'm sure Mr. Bukite and his passenger, thank you so much for everything you did. With us up here, obviously, we have Mike, we have Brian Bates, the assistant manager, John McNamara, our new airport manager, and Tim Card. Ironically, that day we were helping the city of Jamestown, and I saw the plane go over. It was unusual. It was flying a little low. And about 10 minutes later, Tim called me and said, we had a plane crash at the airport. Mind you, I think that was number 5 in my career as county executive. So we rushed immediately, and as a firefighter, I responded as well. But what people don't realize is Mike's initial response, calling it in, calling the effective response order, was critical. Both men, believe it or not, walked away from that incident. Both were transported to hospitals, one going to ECMC for higher level of care. But again, much different situation had Mike not been there and noticed what was happening. So congratulations, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
And that brings us on our agenda to a presentation by the planning board's review of 2026 capital projects by the planning board chairman, Doug Bowen.
Good evening, County Executive Wendell, Mr. Chairman, legislators, and members of the public. My name is Douglas Bowen, and I serve as chairman of the Chautauqua County Planning Board. I'm here tonight to present a report that's more than just a list of numbers and projects. It's a plan that helps shape the future of our county. Every year, the Planning Board is tasked with reviewing dozens of capital projects proposals submitted by the county departments. We evaluate each one and make recommendations on what should be prioritized in the upcoming year's capital budget and what should be part of the 5-year plan. It's a big responsibility and one we take seriously because every decision we make is ultimately about how to invest your tax dollars in ways that are smart, strategic, and forward-looking. The stakes are high. Let's face it, we don't have unlimited resources. We never have. We're constantly balancing competing needs for fixing roads, upgrading facilities, replacing outdated equipment, all while keeping an eye on the bottom line. At the same time, people want more from their local government. They want better services, more safety, and more efficiency. We hear that and we agree. But the reality is, not every project can be funded. So our job is to make sure the ones that do get funded will deliver real, lasting value to the people of Chautauqua County. How we choose. We start with a structured scoring system. Each project is reviewed using objective criteria: public impact, legal mandates, funding sources, cost benefits, and more. But that's not enough. Once we have a draft ranking, the board steps back and applies a common sense test. We ask, does this list reflect what matters most to the county right now? Are any projects tied together by location, timing, or purpose? Are we missing a chance to reduce future costs by sequencing things better? This year, that review led us to raise the priority of several Sheriff's Department projects, where the safety and liability concerns outweighed the dollar signs. We also adjusted 2 planning and economic development projects based on departmental input. And we look closely at how state or federal grants can unintentionally push some projects higher on the list. This is important to flag as we keep improving the process. What we reviewed. This year's scope was large. 45 county-funded projects for 2026. 5 enterprise-funded projects. 14 FAA or state-funded airport projects. And 26 additional projects for the 2027 to 2031 capital plan. That's 90 projects across 13 departments and divisions. It's a testament to how active and forward-thinking our county departments are. The total request for county-funded 2026 projects was $51.6 million, with a county share of roughly $17.9 million. These are real investments with real impacts, from essential maintenance to long overdue upgrades. Why it matters. Some might see this as just another bureaucratic process, but we see it differently. This is planning with a purpose. These decisions affect how we function as a government, how we serve our communities, and how we prepare for what's ahead. If we ignore this process, we fall behind, reacting instead of leading. But when we do it well, and we believe we have, this process becomes one of the most important, powerful tools we have for driving positive change. A team effort. I want to sincerely thank the county executive and legislature for appointing the planning board with such diverse expertise. These are volunteers who have devoted many hours to reading proposals, debating priorities, and thinking critically about what's best for Chautauqua County. Not just now, but 5 or 10 years down the road. And of course, we're grateful to the county departments who submitted thoughtful, well-documented proposals. This level of detail makes all the difference. In closing, I ask that you take this report seriously, not just as a list of recommendations, but as a roadmap for progress. We believe these capital investments, if supported and funded as proposed, will help make our county safer, more efficient, and more future-ready. Thank you for your time, your trust, and your continued support of this important work. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions for the chairman of the planning board? Seeing no one, Doug, they're going to go easy on you tonight, but I'm not going to be so easy on you.
Okay.
I want to thank you and the members of the planning board for providing the service to the entire county. And most importantly, you and your board work diligently on this, produce a terrific report, and you do it all as volunteers. So thank you, and thank you to the entire board.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Olivia, take us away.
There are no veto messages from County Executive Wendell from the May 28th, 2025 legislature meeting. There are 10 communications listed on the agenda. Our office has also received an additional communication that was received after the agenda was finalized. This communication will be number 11, a letter from Pamela J. May, former Director of Health Services at Cassadaga Job Corps, was received by Legislator Larson for inclusion, was submitted by Legislator Larson for inclusion in the correspondence. In it, she expresses her support for Job Corps. If you would like a copy of any of these items, please let our office know.
Thank you. And this time on our agenda, we have a public hearing on ground lease for the Erie Jamestown Airport LLC at Chautauqua County Airport, Jamestown. So, is there anyone to present? Seeing no one, I will open the public hearing for anyone who would like to make comment on the proposed ground lease. Any comments or questions for the public hearing? Anyone to speak to the public hearing? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Olivia, back to you.
Okay. Resolutions?
Legislator Bankowski.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to block 167-25 through 170-25.
Okay, so we have a motion to block and a second by Legislator Gustafson. Any discussion on the motion to block resolutions 167 through 170? Hearing none, all those in favor of blocking, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? They are blocked.
167-25, confirm reappointment, Jamestown Community College Board of Trustees. 168-25, confirm appointment, Traffic Safety Board. 169-25, confirm appointment to Chautauqua County Planning Board. 170-25, confirm appointments, Southern Tier Extension Railroad Authority, Board of Directors.
Are there any comments or questions on any of the blocked resolutions 167 through 170? Seeing none, all those in favor of the blocked resolutions, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? They are carried.
171-25, confirm reappointments, Chautauqua County Land Bank Board of Directors.
Are there any comments, questions on the resolution? Legislator Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting, this resolution contains, as I recall, 11 individuals to be on our county land bank board of directors. The land bank's purpose is to deal with serious housing issues in the county. Unfortunately, the city of Jamestown, which is over 20% of the county's population, has tremendous housing issues. I noticed out of the 11 members, there were none from the city of Jamestown. Confusing to those not from the city of Jamestown, there was one appointee who has a Jamestown 14701 address. That is not unusual. While the city has about 28,000 people at the last census, I believe the 14701 zip code has about 40,000 people in it. Since the land bank is so relevant and important to the city of Jamestown, I raised the question and the issue to me that just randomly appointing good people to the board would have at least 2 out of 11 from Jamestown, if not 3. The response was, well, these people have treated Jamestown well. Well, I could well be, but these boards should fairly represent the city of Jamestown, especially on an issue of housing. So I voted no in committee. One other member voted no, and that's the reason why. It has nothing to do with the qualifications or the dedication of these 11 people, but just by law of averages, the county should be able to find a couple people out of 28,000 in Jamestown that would be good representatives on the Land Bank Board of Directors. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Legislator Bankowski.
2 questions. One being, is the makeup of this committee, is there designation in there that, 3 from Jamestown, 2 from Dunkirk, 1 North County, South County? Is there any demographic makeup of the committee, or is it just an ad hoc committee?
I'm not familiar with the charter of the committee, so perhaps Legislator Scudder or Mr. Geis could answer that.
I think I can answer that. Yeah, as far as I know, there is none. It's a county, it's the Chautauqua County Land Bank, so if you're a resident of the county, you're qualified, and if you're willing, that's a big word, willing to serve on the board. So we tend to be happy when people volunteer or we ask them and they're willing to do it. It's usually ask 3 or 4 and 1 person says yes. So, but there is no requirements as to how many are from where or anything like that.
Okay, and then just my other question was, did we try to recruit anybody from the Jamestown area to represent that? I mean, if we did and no one wanted to, then I don't have a problem, but if no one was asked.
These appointments are made by the county executive, so perhaps the county executive could give us some insight to answer that question.
Names get presented to us of people that are eligible. If it's a requirement, please give us names from the city of Jamestown of the over 28,000. We would gladly appoint somebody. At this point, nobody's reached out and said we would like to be part of this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Legislator Scudder.
Hearing some concerns about the representation from the city of Jamestown. Let me just give you a few facts about the land bank, and this is since the inception of the land bank. The land bank has touched 273 properties in Jamestown. That represents 54.5% of the inventory. So the city, 54.5% of the properties that we've been involved with came from the city of Jamestown. For comparison, 23.8% are from the city of Dunkirk, and 21.7% are scattered around the rest of the county. So Jamestown has seen the bulk of the action from the land bank. This is a conservative estimate. We've done over 200 demos in the city of Jamestown. That's 58% of the demolitions for those of you at home. that have occurred in the county. So 58% were in the city of Jamestown. The average cost per demo is $30,000. So there's been over a $6 million investment just in demos in the city of Jamestown. So while we feel there might be an imbalance in the representation, the city of Jamestown is definitely part of the Chautauqua County Land Bank. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, those figures come as no surprise. They really make the case that sadly, the city of Jamestown's housing problems are immense. We wouldn't expect the land bank to be demolishing houses at Chautauqua Institution. We wouldn't expect a lot of demolition in the beautiful village of Lakewood or beautiful village of Fredonia. 50% or so of houses being addressed or demolished in the city of Jamestown actually proves the problem that the city of Jamestown faces. I can't even, unfortunately, tell you that over 200 demolitions is a good start in the city of Jamestown. Before asbestos remediation and analysis rules, the late Ray Bergen could have taken a bulldozer for about $8,000 a house and have cleared 500 houses in Jamestown, and that I would have counted as a good start. There's no, in my comments at the committee meeting in here, no question about the individuals being named. It just stuck out to me that one community with 50% of the obvious housing needs to all these directors ought to have at least one or two directors from that sadly afflicted community. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay. 17225, authorize the renewal of lease agreement with the town of Chautauqua.
Are there any comments or any questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
17325, authorize lease agreement at the Chautauqua County Jamestown Airport, JHW, for parking lot space with Federal Express Corporation, a Delaware corporation.
Any comments, discussion on the resolution? Legislator Larson.
The news this week about Federal Express apparently closing an operation in the Erie, Pennsylvania area and consolidating it at our airport facility is a rare occasion where the Jamestown area is the winner in a consolidation. Two economic development stories this week seem to have a common theme probably, and that is the importance of Interstate 86. The Maple Vale Foods, they apparently wish to leave their current location in the town of Ellicott. I think it's just outside the village line on Allen Street Extension. They wish to move their operation to Finley Lake area. And so FedEx wishes to move its Erie part of its operation to Jamestown Airport, JHW, Chautauqua County Airport. It looks like the thing they have in common is both businesses have figured out that thanks to Interstate 86, they apparently can serve the southern Chautauqua County area, probably southern Cat County area, and the Erie area from the facility locations that they have settled upon. So again, good news for the Jamestown area with FedEx, maybe 100 employees or more. Bad news in a way for the greater Jamestown, Faulkner, Ellicott area that the 200 and some jobs wish to move to near the Pennsylvania line, still in Chautauqua County. For those that say, well, as long as they stay within the county, we should be happy. Agreed, if the county is convinced that the business would have moved to another state, in this case Pennsylvania, if we didn't offer help to relocate within our county. But in general, over the decades, our County Industrial Development Agency has not, in general, offered up its benefits, pilots, loans, low-interest loans, grants, for a business in one Chautauqua County community to relocate to another. I think that's been a good general policy, but when a company makes a convincing threat that they're going to move unless they get what they want, I understand the difficult between a rock and a hard place that the county itself and its IDA is placed. So, but in general, let's celebrate FedEx consolidating here instead of in Erie. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak to the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
17425, authorized ground lease with the Erie JHW LLC at Chautauqua County Airport, Jamestown.
Are there any questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
17525, authorize acceptance of 2025 Crimes Against Revenue Program, CARP funds.
Any questions, any comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
17625, authorize acceptance of the statewide targeted reductions to intimate partner violence STRIVE grant funds for 2025 through 2026.
Any questions, any comments on the resolution? Legislator Bankowski.
Yeah, just a brief comment on this. Actually, when we were in public safety last Wednesday, Mr. I'm drawing a blank. Our EMS coordinator, Noel Gutman, he was getting ready to speak about this. And his radio went off, and that was the incident that involved the shooting in Mina, where the deputy got shot at by the parent and the son who were having a domestic dispute at the time. Unfortunately, they had to discharge their weapons, and unfortunately, the individual passed due to his actions. But what this grant is about, it's about domestic violence and funding. So this year with this grant, it's broken down into 4 parts where the district attorney is going to get some money, the public defender, the Chautauqua County deputies are going to get some money, and the city of Jamestown. But when we were in the discussion about this, that this money is not just earmarked for those 4 entities this year. It's a 5-year grant where after this year, we can move some of that money around to other municipalities to try to help out with that domestic violence issue. So obviously, it's just not in our little fiefdom here. You know, it's next year. Maybe we need to send some money to Mina to help address issues there or whatever. But just wanted to speak that it's just a sad issue, and you know, it's countywide. It's just not earmarked for just those 4 departments.
Thank you. Other comments, questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
17725, authorizing agreement for the Children and Youth with Special Health Care Needs Program.
Any comments, discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
17825, authorizing agreement for the Children and Youth with Special Health Care Needs Program Community Accessibility and Inclusion Component.
Are there any comments or questions on the resolution? Legislator Johnson.
Just to be sure, I mean, I understand these are grants. Do they bring along any spending from county funds with it, required or otherwise?
Is there anyone who can answer Legislator Johnson's questions in the back row?
That particular, no, that's a project that is granted to allow us to form special projects within our community. And that project would be determined by us as a department. The intention is to
for the prior two projects?
So the prior resolution is not a project, it's the actual program that New York State mandates us to do.
So that's mandated and funded.
Mandated and funded. If there are overages associated with the program, it typically comes through the preschool program and the transportation costs that you hear about each year at budget time.
Are you,
I take it that the county level spending on these things that may be pulled along with it is minor.
that's what she says, very minor. Yes.
Okay.
You're satisfied?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
179.25. Transfer American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, spending plan budgets from 2024 to 2025, interfund transfers to capital projects.
Are there any comments or questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
180.25. Amend Department of Finance 2025 budget for equipment purchases.
Any questions, discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
181.25. Investment policy for the County of Chautauqua.
Any comments or questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
182.25. Financial management policy for the County of Chautauqua.
Any comments on the resolution? Legislator Larson.
The investment policy and the financial management policy, resolutions 181 and 182. The reason we're doing that tonight is section 2.05 of our charter called Powers and Duties of the Legislature. And it says on at least an annual basis prior to the county executive's preparation of the tentative budget, the county legislature shall adopt by resolution a comprehensive financial management policy and an investment policy, and shall adopt by resolution goals and objectives as well as specific performance measures for those goals and objectives, which shall be utilized in the formation of the budget and in measuring the success of its implementation. I have tried to get this point across for most of a year and a half now, especially in the Planning and Economic Development Committee. I can't claim an overwhelming success, but these two resolutions tonight simply allow me to make the observation that while in baseball going 2 for 3 is terrific, in complying with the Chautauqua County Charter, doing 2 of the 3 tasks each year is not what we're supposed to do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other comments, discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
183.25. Setting transportation stipend, Chautauqua County coroners.
Are there any comments or any questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that needed to be roll call.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that should have been a roll call.
And that's a voice from the Ethernet who sound an awful lot like Steve Abdallah. Thank you, Mr. Abdallah. So,
you're welcome.
Would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 183.25?
Absolutely. Mr. Anthony.
Yes.
Mr. Bankowski.
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan.
Yes.
Mr. Carl.
Yes.
Mrs. Dickey.
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson. Yes. Mr. Harmon.
Yes.
Mr. Heiser.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Landy.
Yes.
Mr. Larson.
Yes.
Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Mr. Nebel.
Yes.
Mr. Pavlak.
Yes.
Mr. Penhallow.
Yes.
Mr. Proctor.
Yes.
Mr. Scudder.
Yes.
Ms. Vanstrom. Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
There are 19 yes votes. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
All right. The motion on the agenda has received the required amount of signatures to bring to the floor. Motion A, supporting Job Corps.
Are there any comments, any questions, any discussion on the motion? Legislator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, a number of the legislators were aware that I was not a fan of motions coming back to this body last year, and I am not. Why this one? Well, because the Cassadaga Job Corps in Cassadaga means that getting rid of Job Corps is putting a direct, almost unique impact within New York State on Chautauqua County. The news reports are that there are about 100 jobs at the Job Corps in Cassadaga and only about 500 in the whole state of New York. So the only reason that I took part in this motion is because it's not something that affects the whole nation equally. It has a direct, harmful, almost unique impact on Chautauqua County. We need the jobs, and our employers desperately need trained workers. So I doubt that I'll sponsor or be a sponsor of another motion this year, but that's why I thought this one was darn near unique to our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Scudder.
Yeah, just a comment. I did not support this with my signature. I will support it with the vote. And I remember the discussion a year ago about eliminating motions, and I was all for it also. The good news is I will never sponsor a motion. The problem with motions is you're kind of, as a legislator, put on the spot. If you don't vote in favor of them, most of them aren't a negative impact motion. And honestly, myself, I don't know a lot about Job Corps. I don't know if it's successful. I don't know if it's not. You hear different reports from different opinions. But what really concerns me is here we go. We've got a motion in front of us. And I know Legislator Larson justified why he did it. It's just if we can all justify why we bring a motion to the legislature. I promise you, everyone in this room, I will never bring a motion to the floor. That's not an attack on Mr. Larson. I'm just very disappointed to see a motion on the agenda. It's been very refreshing for almost the last year to not have this discussion, and here we are spending another 7 minutes of our meeting speaking about a motion, and I'm the one that's doing the yakking. But that's all I got for right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In my 39 years in education, I witnessed time and again that the one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work for every student. Far too often we try to force square pegs into round holes, and Job Corps offers a meaningful alternative, giving young people the opportunity to build both academic knowledge and vocational skills that can carry them towards self-sufficiency and long-term success. So I fully support the motion and want to commend the county executive for his ongoing commitment to the Job Corps program. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Larson.
I will take up Legislator Scudder's challenge. I will promise the 18 of you that this is a one and done for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is carried. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to announcements. Are there any announcements in this wonderful season of the year for the good of the order? Any announcements? I don't see any hands going up. Okay, I guess there are no announcements tonight. So that will bring us to our second privilege of the floor. Members of the public may comment on any subject. A member of the legislature may speak on any subject. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes, and comments representing a group shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone wishing to address the second privilege of the floor? Ma'am, please step to the microphone. And please give us your name and your address. There's a microphone right there.
My name is Rachel Brown, and I live in Greenhurst. Do you need the?
That's good.
Okay. This is to do with Job Corps. Chautauqua County stands to lose $17 million annually if Job Corps closes. Donald Trump is trying to eliminate Job Corps, saying the move will save taxpayers money. He has instructed the Department of Labor to shutter all 99 centers across the county by June 30th. Here in Chautauqua County, this means 100 people will lose their jobs, and 190 students currently enrolled will lose access to job training, housing, and health care. Job Corps was established more than 60 years ago to help poor and disadvantaged youth between the ages of 16 to 24 learn a trade. It has provided a stable environment where basic necessities of food and shelter are met. It connects graduates with employers in a variety of fields, from construction to healthcare. The push to abolish the program came following a Department of Labor report by a DOJ staffer who used misleading information and arguably false analysis. The report based findings on a year during the COVID-19 pandemic, when restrictions on enrollment limited the number of students in order to assert that the cost per student was too high. In fact, the budget for Job Corps campus operations has not increased for 8 years, despite inflation. The report also claimed the average annual income of a Job Corps graduate is $16,695. In actuality, the average starting wage is $17.13 an hour, closer to $36,000 a year. The starting wage for our local Job Corps graduates is $19.30 an hour. Another false claim was that the graduation rate was just 38.6%. It has historically been greater than 60%. This is a program that contributes $17 million annually to Chautauqua County. As the second poorest county in New York State, the loss of that revenue will be keenly felt. In the village of Casadega, where Job Corps is one of the biggest water customers, the shutdown will result in higher fees for residents. I attended the press conference and rally to save Casadega Job Corps earlier this month. The fire hall in Stockton was filled to capacity with supporters. I stood at the back because all the seats were taken to listen to testimonials from both students and staff. One graduate said he'd been homeless, couch surfing at friends' houses because his mother was battling drug addiction. He said Job Corps saved his life. As he told his story, I glanced at the Job Corps employee standing to my right. She was wiping tears from her face. There were many moving success stories about the pride people felt when they could finally take care of themselves. Letters were displayed from a variety of employers and organizations, as well as town and local officials and individuals. Most were addressed to Donald Trump directly, pleading with him to change course. These included Absolute Care of Westfield, Union Local 276, Chautauqua County Rural Ministry of Dunkirk, highway superintendents, and others from the town of Portland, Silver Creek, and Stockton, Aspire, League of Women Voters, the IDA.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor?
Lady speaking, if she has her extended remarks in writing, can that be given to the clerk?
Yes, please give those to the clerk so they can be part of the record. Please give them, and they will be part of the record in writing. Yes, ma'am. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Stephanie Nick from Faulkner, Village of Faulkner. I guess I just want to add to the Job Corps issue. My son was a member of Job Corps. He was not doing well in his regular high school classes, was picked up by Job Corps, was able to go live there, completely turned things around, was doing excellent, and then within 2 weeks of him graduating from the program, he was told it needed to be shut down, and he was put on a bus, dropped off in Buffalo because he said he had a place to go, which he didn't, and left in Buffalo in the middle of the night. He is now staying with a friend, but I guess the point is these kids, they're young. They have no idea what they're doing. They think, oh, I'll find a place to stay, and it's not easy. Losing this program with no real exit opportunities is really difficult as a parent, as a person who is part of Job Corps, essentially. So along with what the last participant said, I guess I just want to say that losing Job Corps is a real loss to Chautauqua County. And while it might not have been the best program for every kid there, for a lot of kids, it was a last chance.
Thank you. Anyone else for the second privilege of the floor?
Hello again. Jim Werfitz from the town of Ellery, president of the Chautauqua Lake Property Owners Association, the CLPOA. I'll speak to you tonight, but I've also emailed my comments to the county executive in case he prefers reading them from his phone while I'm talking.
Jim, please be respectful in your
I
comments.
am being respectful.
Please
and
be
that's why-
respectful. You're
Read what you've got here to present.
You're addressing the legislature,
Thank you.
not the county executive.
Thank you.
First, the CLPOA will hold Wetlands Public Meeting Number 11, its 13th, on Saturday, July 5th, 9:30 to 11 a.m. at the Bemis Point Golf Club and Tap House. We've invited the county executive to come to the meeting to provide his perspective on the new wetlands regulations and their implications for the lake and the county. We're awaiting a response. You have all watched the DEC run roughshod over Chautauqua Lake, private property along the shoreline, and across the county with its new wetlands regulations. The county Chautauqua Lake cash cow is being devalued by New York State in front of our eyes. Only 5 months into the regulations, over 3,000 acres have been designated wetlands with common activities restricted. That's 70% of the lake's shallow water littoral zone and over 20% of our entire lake. Additionally, hundreds of acres of private property, 100 feet up onto the shoreline and under hundreds of homes, is now restricted. County Executive Wendell, please use your relationship with DEC Region 9 Director O'Neill to identify what in the regulations allows the in-lake actions she has taken. We can't find it. Now changing gears. We recently heard the county executive proclaim that he's decided to reevaluate the structure and bylaws of the Chautauqua Lake and Watershed Management Association, the Alliance. This is an ad hoc group which is operated as a county agency with IRS 501c3 and New York State nonprofit corporation status for the last 12 years. Unfortunately, the Alliance's organizational design, its structure, and its bylaws were flawed from the outset. Its structure was determined by political expediency instead of clear improvement objectives and without the necessary authority to manage the lake. Although it's directed tens of millions of dollars of local foundation and taxpayer funds to lake and watershed projects, it has been unsuccessful improving lake conditions. Now the county will attempt to upgrade the secretive organization. That will not work. A completely new organization, a centralized lake authority, as proposed by County Executive Borrello in 2019, is required. It must have the legal authority to manage the lake, authority the Alliance currently exercises but clearly lacks. Tentative plans heard thus far fail this test. Although the county executive and the county legislature may believe they can handle the task, that has not been the case with similar efforts over the past several decades, and we're certain they will need help. The county, with elected county and municipality representatives, not the Alliance, must contract an organizational design consultant with appropriate and specific organizational design skills and experience for the task. Such a consultant will take the county back to first principles, defining clear and quantifiable lake improvement objectives, and ensure that lake area taxpayers are formally represented by a balanced group of municipal and county elected representatives answerable to taxpayers. No lake maintenance contractors, no ancillary organizations, no special interest groups, and no foundations. As a distributor of county and state taxpayer funds, the new organization must be subject to New York State open meeting laws with public participation in all its meetings. It must be subject to the Freedom of Information Act with its documents available to the public upon request. After decades of failure, let us not play amateur hour with Lake Management Organization once again. Legislators, please be smart about this and insist on the centralized lake authority agreed by all in the Memorandum of Agreement in 2019, and contract professionals to design an organization for our lake. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor? Legislator Nelson.
I feel like if I don't do this, people will be disappointed, but maybe not. Each year in my U.S. history classes, I discuss the War Powers Act passed in 1973. And I did this in part because it was on a New York State curriculum, and it could be a question on the students' Regents exam. But more importantly, I wanted our students to know and to understand that there are limits to the President's power to fight undeclared wars. Article 1, as you guys know, of the Constitution gives Congress the power to declare war. Article 2 says the President is the Commander-in-Chief of the military. And most legal scholars agree that the founders intended to separate the power to initiate a war from the power to run a war once it began, leaving the President able only to repel sudden attacks without first going to Congress. In 1973, at the end of the Vietnam War, Congress tried to limit the power of the President to fight undeclared wars by passing the War Powers Act. The act requires the President to notify Congress within 48 hours of deploying armed forces in any case where war was not formally declared. Under the law, the military action must end within 60 days unless Congress declares or grants an extension. The resolution also says the President may only introduce forces into hostilities with congressional approval or if the United States has been attacked. President Nixon vetoed the bill, but Congress overrode the veto with a 2/3 vote. While I would agree that the world is safer if Iran does not have nuclear weapons, and many presidents in the modern era, both Democrats and Republicans, have carried out military strikes without congressional authorization, I think many believe, that the President Trump's decision to bomb the 3 nuclear sites in Iran was unconstitutional because we were not attacked. Also, this decision runs the risk of deeper U.S. entanglements in the Middle East and do what President Trump promised he wouldn't do, which is to engage the U.S. in endless, forever wars. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else to address the second privilege of the floor? Seeing no, Legislator Nebel.
Yes, I'd just like to mention to my learned colleague to my left that he didn't mention anything about Libya. Their President Obama authorized Tomahawk strikes on Libya, and we had a Secretary of State at the time said we came we saw, he died. If that wasn't a violation of the War Powers Act, I don't know what was. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Anthony.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
And a second by Legislator Scudder. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we're adjourned.